So my name is Matt Clark. I work for a company called Sauce Labs. How many out there have heard of us prior to tonight? So a few, not super many. So basically, this talk is called The Secret Ingredient to Gaming DevOps. I'm a solutions engineer, so we're going to talk about what Sauce Labs does and give you guys a good introduction and a background for it. So basically, in a nutshell, we basically help you ship the highest quality software the fastest possible. So we do that through like clear signals, actionable signals like Jira automation, tickets hooked to crashes and errors so that you guys can handle problems. We have automation testing suites, really here to like basically do that. But we have this part, every experience matters. Today, most of our experiences are digital experiences. We spend more time on our phones than we do talking to people in real life. So that's what this is. We're about digital confidence in your apps and your games out there. All right, so as far as that goes, we actually have a like DevOps platform. And with some really cool things that I hope you guys will keep impatient as I go through this, which is gonna be some free stuff to keep you guys engaged, because there's a lot of things here I wish when I first started making games that I could have utilized. So the first one of those is Sauce Crash and Error. Some of you may have known this Backtrace before, and that is once a game releases into production, you can get crashes and errors immediately into your funnel and handle those back to your developers. And I'm going to cover the reasons why in this talk pretty in depth. We also have a mobile where we have a real device cloud where you can go up and test your games on real iOS and Android devices, as well as emulators and simulators. We have API. If you're consuming like Steam's API, you can go up and check it, make sure it's up. If you've designed your own API, you can hit with load testing, and you can make sure it's up. The same thing goes there. We have some low-code solutions that starts touching on the AI and machine learning space a little bit, where you can use some of these things to code your testing in there without having to do a ton of testing code. Finally, we have some cross-browser for the old browser stuff on that level, and then a visual product that's more for regression testing for if a visual element has changed since the last time and how that affects. That's mainly browsers. So I'm going to try to focus on the two things today that I think are applicable to gaming, which is going to be our real device cloud, and it's also going to be the Backtrace, the Sauce Crash and Error reporting. So today at Sauce Labs, we do something what's called the continuous integration, continuous development. Software as a service, love it, hate it. I have mixed feelings about it personally because you're never done off the hamster wheel. But this is our reality, and this is what you need to do to stay competitive, and this is what we're here to help you support. So all along this journey of your CI/CD pipeline, we have places to help you and help you do that, shipping the code faster and shipping higher quality software. I'm going to go through this a little faster than normal because we were asked to just make it a little bit faster than the normal 25 minutes. So, but this is the part I kind of want to zero it in on, what I felt that really important to share with game devs, which is brand experience. If you have an app that is at a 4- and 5-star level, you convert 95% of those people into customers. As an indie game developer, the critical part is once you hit 3 stars, it drops to 50%. So for me, when I have a game on Steam, don't look at it now, it's called Fishing on the Fly. That marketing dollars for me was absolutely critical and like very valuable from an early experience. If you're telling me that I can make a better game for my customers, for my players, and save twice as much money on marketing, I would just go, yeah. So really, this is what I'm trying to convey, is that we have a set of tools to help you guys out for free based on this level of indie sliding up to enterprise where it's not so free, but we're here to help you guys. And the goal is to have better player experiences and better brand experiences and better gaming experiences. It's a win-win for everybody, and it's going to prevent you from spending twice as much money in marketing. That's the piece of that part that I want to just kind of share. Hammer it home, what drives these bad reviews, right? Functional error, app crashing, network problem. Those are really things that you can zero in on and say, we can help you with. So, all right. So I have like this idea of failing the right way and failing the wrong way. My first talk's on the GDC Vault. It's called Succeed by Failing, and it really talks about this idea of failing the right way and wrong way. A lot of the hints that I did from my game, and don't tell the Unity guy in Unreal 3, Brent, sorry. But I share those experiences, the things that I would do different, if you ever get a chance in the Vault and want to watch that one. But basically, poor experiences lead to lost customers. Touched on this with the ratings. Not only does it happen with basically the ratings, but if a person has a crash or a hang on your app, if they have that bad of a brand experience, 25% of them will not come back. Now, in the gaming place in the old days, hey, Wild West, everything's fine. No one cares about crashes and errors. People will put up with it. Well, we've seen very, very large titles now launch massive multiplayer online games to horrible reviews and lost player bases. And I can't imagine you and I, but when we get up there and invest our time, energy, and our love into these projects and then having to put up with either trolls or this or that, it's just, that's failing the wrong way. Let's get rid of that. So what is failing the right way? It's the software iteration. It's not slowing down. It's getting those clear and actionable signals. Some of our products are going to tell you, hey, you've had a crash. For me, if that breaks, a crash, the player experience at such a fundamental layer that they can no longer play the game, then you have a big issue. I want to know about that yesterday. So if I have Backtrace running, we'll tell you right now, this has failed. Send it to me right this instant and Slack me automatically, and we can set that up for you. File a Jira ticket for these lower things, but take these crashing, horrible brand experiences, let's get those handled. And then shift and left right. It's the idea of basically saying, shift right, we can help you in production with Backtrace, track these things down so that crash happens and we can get it taken care of within minutes. But also, let's talk about some things on the left side, pre-production, we can do to help you guys do that. So we have some automated testing we can do. So regression testing, we also have that in there as well. If errors pop up, we track them. If you have one happen more in one place, more than one branch, we can help you. That's failing the right way. I'm not going to, how are we doing on time? Like halfway through? Just about? Okay, so on the Sauce mobile side, basically we have a real device cloud with emulators and simulators as well to help you out. And we also have beta testing app distribution. I'm covering a lot of information with you guys right now, but I'm gonna break it down into kind of like how we can help you with mobile and then what we can help you with like consoles. So this is how we can help you with mobile. So we have and maintain a device cloud of real devices. So it's all the popular brands of iOS, all the popular brands of Android, and you can filter these up on the little bar according to resolution, brand, latest OS. We'll even maintain like the beta versions of them for you. At 0 day, we release the version of that phone by major brands when it's released into our device cloud. That means that you can test on all of these devices without having to actually buy any of them. So, and then on the Sauce mobile side, we take videos as well, and we give you metrics of the timeline, your interactions of the game, so that you can see how that's happening. And then device metrics, graphic, you can monitor battery level, you can correlate that to a crash, you can see the GPUs, the shaders, the CPU performance and the like. And then finally, on the Sauce mobile side, we also have a beta testing platform. What that lets you do is take your users that you normally have, and you can segment them, right, and say, I want them to do A/B testing over here. I want them over here to have this version of my game. I want these people to have this. Maybe you want them to have all the same version, but you bring them in, and then they can download a QR code that puts that version on the latest on your phone, so you can circumvent having to go through the Google Play Store or Test Flight or any of those. It's our way of basically releasing these things so that you guys can get that software iteration and that beta phase that you want as fast as possible. So that's on that one. All right. So this is the part that I love to say, we succeed when you do. This is free stuff, right? So for Backtrace, for crashes and errors, the thing I'm gonna dive into next, we do 25,000 free monthly errors. So you can just, that until you successful, then we can bump it up and then talk about it then. But I would 100% have loved this to have my game. Brings up, this is Oz over here, my compatriot at Sauce Labs, and if you want to come over here and sign up for demos later on or grab some free swag, I want to make sure that you guys know where we're at, and we can talk more about Backtrace and give you a little ducky or whatever, maybe some hot sauce. So, cool. And then as far as the testing plans themselves, for real device, those emulators, simulators, API, all of these things, we either give you free 2,000 credits per month for you to roll over, or we offer it free right now, period. So you can come in and use Sauce Labs and find out for yourself if this is gonna help you. And in that, those public devices and virtual devices that I'm talking about. So first of all, how many people in here use Unity as a game engine? Woo! How many people use Unreal? Yay! How many people use custom engines? You're crazy. 1, 2, 3. All right. So all of this is applicable, and all of these things we can do with Sauce Labs. So we have SDKs for all of it, but for this part in particular, Sauce crash and error reporting, which is Backtrace, we can deliver on every platform. So Switch, PlayStation 5, Xbox, PC, Unity, Unreal, custom engine, C++, C, JavaScript, every single platform and every single language except for React Native. Basically, that's not a language, it's a framework. But anyways, we're working on that one too for the web people out there in the audience. We deliver all of those. And what that lets you do is it lets you design an app for a base code, and as you're going to use Unity or Unreal or a custom engine to release a game, you can track regressions by not having to go to multiple places to track what's happening on a console, what's happening on a mobile, any of that. It's in one interface, in one place. So for us, that's compressing the entire life cycle, the software cycle, to allow you to capture and prioritize crashes and bugs and errors. Mind you, I just switched from real device testing, automation, and a lot of other things for mobile now into what we do for gaming and into that platform that I'm talking about called Backtrace or Sauce Crash and Error. And we let you organize that. We call this the mean time to detection and the mean time to resolution. So by the time you detect something, you resolve it, we want to cut that into as short as possible time. 70% in most cases is what we've seen. This lets you resolve it. We do this by analyzing and collaborating together. So in that new era of DevOps, that shift left and shift right that I talked about, what does that mean? Traditional was kind of like you release, pray, hope for the best, react. But now in shift left and shift right, basically in shift right, we're catching that in production with Backtrace. Shift left, we have some mobile automation going on, throwing even some stuff we'll talk about in the future. But really now it's continuous testing and integration all along the pipeline. And that's the new era of DevOps. So what does Backtrace look like? We give you a snapshot talking about, this is really important, I think, 98% error-free users. That's great. I've seen this number, 50%. That's bad. And we let you track these errors by version. So you can sit back and say, am I improving? My 2.0 version did these level of errors. 3.0 version did this level. All right, and then the heart of it is duplication and issue tracking. So you can see here, we have a fingerprint. We deduplicate. So instead of having to hunt through log files thousands of times for your try and error blocks, or maybe some hello world you put in your code or whatever, regardless of that, you're going to be able to take these things, instead of going through 1,000 times, we deduplicate them or group them so they once, and now you can see that it's happened, the errors by application have crashed 2,188 times. You can see that you can immediately file that JIRA ticket, and you can see that it's actually unique to these many places in your GUI. And then we also going to prioritize it and slice it by, is this WebGL? Is it a Unity WebGL game? Those are the tough black box ones. iOS, Android, Switch, PS. You can break it down by Unity, break it down by Unreal. You can break it down by, we even support Linux Kubernetes clusters in the back end if you're doing a multiplayer high score. So you can get all of this error information in one place. All right, and then finally, this is the debug screen. So from a developer, what happens? I get the call stack, I get it desymbolicated. We have symbol servers out there that basically the call stack comes back, it automatically desymbolicates it so that it's readable. So for me, just as an anecdote, I'm kind of a solo dev guy, hello world this, get the feedback through log files, hunt down, peck, do these things. But when you get into really large teams of even 5 people, you'll be working on code bases together and you'll start stepping on each other's toes and when the way you release. And that's really what the call stack and being able to desymbolicate it is about. You want to see the functions and the things that events that we're handling prior to that crash. It could be caused by a teammate or the way that both of you were doing things. So there's a reason as you get bigger that these things become more important. But we give you the faulting thread, we give you the log file, we can give you the source code, like this page says here, we do source code integration as well. It's a SSH GitHub lookup, basically, if you support that. We can integrate to it. We don't store your source, we basically just make a reference to it. All right, so, this is another thread call stack. This one's showing the breadcrumbs down below where we actually show events as well. And then this one is the attributes with the metadata. So if you have, the metadata stays in for all things. Our metadata is completely extensible. If this was like Android as an example, there'd be like a device model down here, and all of those would change, but the crash could be across all those device models, so you could see that, but maybe the common thread is the shader that was used at that. So this is another way to pinpoint errors into the system and crashes. All right, so just kind of zipping along, this is the final piece, the future. One of the things that I get to do, which is awesome, I get to work with some of the largest video game companies in the world. What that gives me the ability to do is see it like a 15,000 foot view across what they're doing and how it correlates to what you're trying to strive to do in terms of releasing a game that's either the highest quality or the best player base or your passion or your love. So what I'm seeing out there is it's data driven. It's scary. The really large players, they now have data scientists sitting right next to their developers. And they don't make decisions if it's not, maybe better or worse, I want my players playing my game, right? Not just crashes and errors, and let's say it, but also saying what decision and forks are my players making when they leave the game. I want to know that too. I think we record videos. It's really interesting on our mobile devices. If it was me, I'd go basically grab all my players and want to know that 5 seconds right before, what was it when they quit playing the game? What was that? I want to know it. These guys have the data scientists to figure it out. Just letting you know that's what's going on out there. All right, artificial intelligence. It was all of the rave at like GDC this year. It's here to stay. It's something that, whether it's generative and you're an artist, and you're going to be sitting back and going, wow, like now I can get this art free, or hey, I have a player of bots that I want to use for my testing. I don't want to have beta testers anymore. I want to release bots. These things are all happening right now. And the piece that I would share with you is that your personal brand and the way that you do for your art and the things that you can compete against that, it's never been more important than today than to have your idea of your own personal brand. In order to compete against generative AI, you're going to have to say, that artist matters. Those players love that artist. So there's a piece of this that you can overcome that through. But I do suggest that where the AI comes into play, like with this army of bots, some of the titles, I don't know if I can mention it exactly, but let's just say there's it's a massive multiplayer world. This company has released thousands of bots that go into all over this world and climb stuff and jump off things and battle each other and play with things. That's all pushing crashes and errors into Backtrace every time that happens. It's very powerful, and I think that's something that I would love to leverage. And then finally, we're also shifting from, I just threw out the slide for frameworks, but we support at Sauce Labs the automation of, if you want to automate your tests for basically mobile. We do like XUI, Appium, and Selenium. We're moving away from that to bring your own tests. So if you have tests in Python or no matter however you did that, we're releasing a product called Sauce Orchestrate that's going to allow you to build over containers and put them onto our infrastructure and then run the tests the way that you want. Again, the goal here is to ship the highest quality software as fast as possible. Thank you.